Good morning. I'm very happy to be here in these beautiful surroundings of Gorizia, frontier region, frontier city. I'm advisor for indeed the King's Commissioner in the Province of Limburg, Netherlands. Since this year we have a king, sorry. But it was immediately corrected by the ministry, of course. And Mr. Bovens, with our governor, is also coordinating for the other border provinces in the Netherlands. The Netherlands consists of one central state government and 12 provinces. And of these 12, 7 are border provinces to either Germany or Belgium. And Limburg is the only province that is bordering both, so bordering Belgium and Germany. So, we heard this morning about the Madrid Convention, and I must say there is a large gap between Madrid Convention and daily practice, and perhaps we could discuss this later on. My presentation is in direct follow-up on this of my dear colleague Edwin, who just talked about the cooperation process between Flanders and the Netherlands. So, first of all, a few slides just to orientate. On purpose I don't show you a map, because a map always shows borders, and we don't want to think in borders. I think you recognize Northwestern Europe, with perhaps you see Brussels, Antwerp, Randstad, and the Ruhr area. And now I show you where our province is located. It's located over there. So right between the Ruhr area, Cologne and Düsseldorf in North Rhine-Westphalia, the Brussels-Antwerp metropolitan region, and Randstad, Amsterdam, Rotterdam, The Hague. So right in the center, and that's how we feel. We don't feel as a border region in the Netherlands, we feel as a central region in Northwestern Europe. We are a small province, 1 million inhabitants, but due to its position, we are, to its border position, a unique province in the Netherlands. Okay, so we are working cross-border in two U-regions. U-regions, they exist for a long period. On the south, you see the U-Regio Meuse-Rhine, which is founded in 1976. With 5 regions, a very complex governance model, with a region, the Aachen region, the Deutschsprachige Gemeinschaft, which is a Belgian community, the province of Liège, which belongs to Wallonie, the Walloon region, and the province of Belgium, Limburg, which belongs to Flanders, and then the province, the Dutch part, the southern part of the Dutch province of Limburg. So 5 regions, very complex, but therefore very challenging region. And in the north we have the U-Regio Rhine-Meuse North, which is a bilateral U-region between Limburg and part of North Rhine-Westphalia. So, what are these U-Regios? These U-Regios, they established a governmental platform for cooperation. So they don't have legislative, they don't have executive competences. It's a platform for debate, and it's a platform for cooperation. And they have a function in the execution of Interreg. So, next slides will give you a short impression of what we're doing. We are always thinking in opportunities and not obstacles, and we are always trying to work from content. So we don't start at instruments, and we don't start at governance, we start from content. And one of the points of content, which is very relevant to us, is innovation, economics and innovation. And therefore we established the technological top region Eindhoven-Leuven-Aachen, and we are in this region also, and in this field we try to foster innovation. We have lots of technological know-how. For instance, the University of Aachen, which is in Germany, is one of the top universities in Germany, And what we are trying to do is to make connections between our companies, our enterprises, our institutions, and that of the RWTH and other universities. And we already established quite some interesting institutions bilaterally. So this is an interesting process. There are not so much legislative problems to be solved here. Problems here are more in the field of finance and establishing real cooperation. That's what makes it difficult right here. We're also working on good connections, of course, as every region wants to. There are no high-speed connections through our province, but we do want to be connected in a proper way. We have 3 railroad connections, 2 to Germany, 1 to Belgium. They are local connections, and we are very happy to say that the Flemish government has decided last week to develop a new connection, a light rail connection between Hasselt and Maastricht, which will be very important for the bilateral cooperation between the 2 provinces, the 2 Limburg provinces. And yes, we're working very hard on establishing further intercity connections and light rail connections in order to be connected in a proper way with our neighbors. That's a very complex process. It will take a long time before we arrive to our goals. I think you must count in numbers of 10 or 15 years. Not so much legislative problems, but lots of financial problems, of course. It's very expensive and it's very complicated because so many partners are involved, and this is more or less having the same priorities, establishing the same goals is difficult, it's complex. It's politics, it's governance, and it takes time. But we are steadily progressing. So, a slide about our dynamics transborder. We have about 25,000 border workers traveling each day from or to Limburg, one of the neighboring regions. I don't know whether that's much or not. I think it could be much more when borders wouldn't be so hindering cross-border work. It could be more, but nevertheless, it's there. For example, about 600 or 700 employees from Flanders are working in our academic hospital in Maastricht. So there is quite something. We have 4,000 expats coming from all over the world in Limburg. Lots of students, mostly from Germany, who are studying at our university or our high schools, which is very interesting. They like to come to our university and high schools. We're trying to establish the other way around, which is more difficult, and that has all to do with the predominance of English instead of German. So we see lots of students coming to Limburg. On the other hand, lots of patients, when we're talking about healthcare, are seeking treatment in Flanders, because the situation in healthcare is very well developed in Flanders. It's of course very well established in the Netherlands also, but we have still waiting lists, and therefore lots of people are going for medical care, especially specialist care, go to Belgium. So this gives you a small impression. So this is about labor markets. An investigation we made a few years ago. Left picture, you see number of jobs within 1 hour distance from your residence, and obviously the most jobs are in the western and central part of the Netherlands, and the peripheral regions in the north, in the east, in the southeast and in the southwest. Much lesser jobs. The big concentrations are in the middle and in the west. But this is the picture when you only take into account the jobs which are in the Netherlands. When you would think cross-border, when you count the number of jobs also in Belgium and Germany within 1 hour, then the situation is totally different. And then you see that for Limburg, for instance, but also for eastern provinces. There is a big opportunity in opening the labor market furthermore, and that lots of jobs come within reach. And therefore it's priority to the Limburg government to establish this cross-border labor market. Big priority even. And we're happy to have a conference in December just on this topic and what we should do to come from picture 1 to picture 2. That's what it is, in fact. Yeah. Here you see some numbers, which are not so interesting, so I quickly move on. The number of border commuters. And since 2 years we have this institute. 11 partners are in this institute. Grenzinfo, Aachen Eurode, which is on the border between Limburg and Germany, the Aachen region. We are very happy with this institution. Everyone who has questions regarding cross-border working, either on tax or on social insurance or on contracts or on whatever, you can, 2 minutes, then I must move on very quickly. You can go to this institute and they will help you, give you advice how to overcome all these difficulties. So, first of all, this one first. We are not starting at zero. That is very important when we talk about cross-border cooperation. We have already established quite some interesting facilities. For instance, in the field of police and justice cooperation, we have APIC and BES, and they are working really in a structural way together, which means that the agencies from Belgium, Netherlands and Germany are working under one roof and trying to working together on safety issues. And we have the same on regarding to tax. We have a tax organization trilaterally, so the German, Belgian and Netherlands tax experts are under one roof. So these are structural forms of cooperation that are very important and that we are trying to develop further on. And there are lots of other things that already are existing. So we are not at zero, but we do have to move on and develop further cooperation. There are numerous other examples. I leave it with this. For instance, we have this transnational university. It's a Belgian Dutch university, Limburg University, between University Maastricht and University Hasselt. And transnational university is established. They do quite some joint programs. So, and I'm going back to this one. So, we are not starting at zero. We have this governance model in our EU regions. We have projects by Interreg. We are working on structural cooperation organizations. But it still remains very, very, very complex because of different legislation, different systems, and we are by no far satisfied with the situation that we are in now. So, we are looking, it remains very complex, yes, and the mobility, and that's something that we discovered lately, is there are lots of uncertainties. And I think one of the problems is that the rules on taxation, on social security, are ever and ever changing. And they are very unclear to most civilians, so there is a lack of transparency. For instance, on the field of recognition of qualifications, it remains very, very complex, and that's why it still is difficult. So, Europe helps. I can skip this one. We've talked enough about EGTS. Europe is helping with funding, very important. We are very glad that the next MFF period more money is coming to us. And yes, and the regulations and directives. The member states themselves also help, of course, when it's in their own interest, and they've done quite some things. The tax treaties, for instance, the Benelux, their co-financing. And now we have these two recent initiatives in our area. GROS, that's something that Edwin has told you all about, between Flanders and Netherlands, but we also have the same proceedings between the Netherlands and North Rhine-Westphalia and between the Netherlands and Niedersachsen. The coordination structure is out? Okay. Well, the rest is for the question. My solution, multi-level cooperation. That's what we should do more and better. I thank you for your attention.